When I first agreed to the arrangement, I thought it was just a favor. A harmless deal. Her mother, powerful, intimidating, and always 3 steps ahead, wanted me to keep her daughter occupied, to keep her out of trouble. I was supposed to date her daughter, keep her busy, and in return, I'd gain access to opportunities most people only dreamed of. It was business, nothing more. Or at least, that's what I told myself. The funny thing is, back then, I didn't know how badly I needed this job. I didn't know how desperately my family needed this arrangement. I didn't know that agreeing to this simple request would turn my life upside down. But that's how it goes sometimes, isn't it? Life has a funny way of testing you, of pushing you towards decisions that seem like a good idea at the time, but end up becoming life-changing events. Sophia, her daughter, was nothing like I imagined. I expected a spoiled, reckless girl with no boundaries. Instead, I found someone soft, stubborn, and a little lost. She had eyes that carried too much sadness for someone so young, and a laugh that felt like sunshine breaking through storm clouds. The first time we went out, she stared at me across the cafe table and asked bluntly, "So, you're my mother's new project?" I almost choked on my coffee. Excuse me? She thinks she can control me by dangling pretty girls in front of me. She tilted her head, smirking. "You're the prettiest so far." I should have walked away right then, but instead, I smiled. What began as a deal turned into nights of whispered conversations, sharing secrets in parked cars, and Sophia leaning her head on my shoulder when she thought I wasn't paying attention. And suddenly, my life wasn't just about me anymore. It was about her, about us. I found myself questioning everything. Was this real? Was this genuine? Or was it all just part of the game? A grand chess move by her mother to keep her daughter close, to keep her under wraps. You see, Isabella was a force to be reckoned with. She was influential, feared, and respected all in equal measure. But what people didn't understand was the desperation behind that facade. Desperation born out of a need to control, to dominate. All because she believed that was the only way to protect what was hers. As for me, I was drawn into their world, into a life of luxury and secrets and lies. My world expanded, my life became more vibrant, more thrilling. But with each passing day, the line between reality and pretense blurred. I had entered their lives as an outsider, a pawn in Isabella's intricate game. But I found myself growing attached to the one person I wasn't supposed to. Her daughter, Sophia. And the worst part was I didn't even know why. Looking back, I realized it was those moments that solidified my feelings for her. Moments like when we visited an animal shelter and I saw the way her eyes lit up, not with pity, but with genuine joy as she interacted with a scared kitten. Or when we stumbled upon an old abandoned theater and she talked passionately about the stories the building could tell. These moments revealed the depth of her character, her kindness, her curiosity, her empathy. They were a stark contrast to the life she seemed destined for, a life of privilege, yes, but also of loneliness, of being misunderstood. Because let's face it, what does a girl like Sophia know about real life? Her mother had shielded her from it, doted on her, yes, but also isolated her. For her, life had probably been a series of fancy parties, designer clothes, and expensive toys. The outside world, with its dirt and grime and complexities, had been kept at bay. And then I came along. I may have been a product of my own circumstances, but I had lived, truly lived. I had seen the struggles, the heartaches, the triumphs, and the defeats that life had to offer. And in many ways, I think she was drawn to that. She wanted to experience life in all its forms, not just the comfortable, sanitized version her mother had provided. It wasn't just our differences that drew us together, it was also the similarities. We both loved books. We both had a passion for art. And we both, in our own ways, had a hard time fitting in. She just had money to burn a hole in her pocket. And me, well, I had dreams that refused to be contained. However, the more time I spent with her, the more I realized that our connection was more than just a product of circumstance. There was something powerful between us, something magnetic, something that defied the boundaries I had set. I found myself caring about her happiness, her well-being, her growth as a person. And that terrified me. Because if she truly believed our relationship was real, then she was living in a world of make-believe. My task was to be a part of that world, to play along, to pretend. But the deeper I went, the more I felt like I was betraying her, betraying us. It wasn't just about keeping her busy or keeping her out of trouble anymore. It was about protecting her, shielding her from the inevitable heartbreak that awaited. I remember the exact moment when I fell for her. We were at one of those exclusive parties, surrounded by people who seemed to exist only to gossip and spread rumors. Sophia, dressed in a stunning white gown, looked like a trapped bird, beautiful, fragile, and desperate to break free. That was when I made a choice. I chose her over the facade, her over the game. I leaned in and kissed her. It wasn't a stolen kiss. It was a declaration, a statement. It was my way of saying, this is real. This is true. Her reaction was priceless. The surprise, the confusion, the hesitant smile, and finally, the tears. Tears of joy, of relief, of gratitude. In that moment, I knew I had done the right thing. The problem was, Isabella didn't see it that way. I was prepared for anger, for threats, for the usual repertoire of a woman scorned. But what I wasn't prepared for was the cold, calculating fury in her eyes. When she spoke, her voice was like ice. You've made a grave mistake, darling. One that I won't soon forget. And then she left without another word. The aftermath was swift and brutal. Sophia and I were cast out, shunned, discarded like yesterday's news. We lost our homes, our support, our sense of security. But amidst the chaos, there was clarity. I knew I had to make things right, to fix what I had broken. So I did the only thing I could. I apologized. I didn't expect forgiveness, not at first. But when Sophia looked at me with tears in her eyes and asked me to forgive her, I realized that this was bigger than our individual mistakes. This was about us, about what we had built, about what we could become, and that's when I forgave her. We didn't have much. We were starting over. But what we did have was each other. We had our love, our shared experiences, our dreams for the future, and that was enough. Looking back, I wouldn't change a thing. The journey was tough, but it made us stronger, more resilient, more appreciative of what truly mattered. And as for Isabella, well, I guess she got the wake-up call she needed to realize that her daughter wasn't a pawn in her game. She was a human being with thoughts, feelings, and dreams of her own. Now, years later, Sophia and I are happier than ever. Our love has weathered the storms. Our bond has deepened with time, and our trust in each other has become unwavering. As I watch her now, laughing, thriving, and living her best life, I can't help but feel a sense of pride. Pride in the woman she has become, pride in the journey we've shared, and pride in the love that brought us together in the first place. Sure, there are days when the weight of her past, the scars of her past, threaten to resurface, but we face them together. We lean on each other, and in the quiet moments, when it's just us, I remind myself that our love story, though unconventional, was real. It was authentic, and it was worth every bit of the struggle.